All right, Shalom, we the Hebrew Israelites come out here week in and week out, prophesy the downfall of this queendom called America. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, call Halagim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and others of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Bakiyar, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. As always, it's an honor and privilege to continue to do this work. I'm just going to go into prophecy. Because what else is there to talk about, man? We're in a year of prophecy. That's so coined by the apostle Tahar. And fittingly so, you know. This is Revelation chapter 19, verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. Yeah, because the angels, the messengers, the Al-Hayim, they are our fellow brethren, man. You know, because when we get translated into the spiritual world, our spirits go into our spiritual bodies, man. You know? So the angels are our brethren. It says, I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Yeah, Yahweh Shai is the real name of the Father's Son, the real name of the Messiah, who the world inly calls Jesus Christ, which the letter J is only 500 years old, man. So his name couldn't be Jesus. You know, we know him as Yahweh Shai. And that's a question that is posed to you in the scriptures for those, pretty much for everybody in the world, because his name is not given to everybody. You know, and just because you do know his name, that doesn't guarantee your salvation, man. You have to be predetermined for salvation from the foundation of the earth, man. You know, predestined. Continuing, it says, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. Yeah, it's a spirit of prophecy. You know, to prophesy is to say things before it happens, man. You know, you have a lot of individuals out in the world that are prophesying right now. You know, children, women, you know, men, you know, these other nations. Because the Most High is pouring His Spirit upon all flesh. Why is that? Because the end is coming. You know, we're at the end. And it's just going to get worse and worse. You're going to see a lot of miserable things happening in these times, man. This is Joel. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old man shall dream dreams. Yeah, so your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, man. That's why you have a lot of individuals, you know, making videos about certain dreams that they had, or certain visions, you know, that they have encountered, and they bring it out to the forefront. And as men of the Lord that know the scriptures, that know the breakdowns, we use the scriptures to clarify their dreams, man, to make it clear, you know, so you can have an understanding of what is being told unto you through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man, and possibly to edify. It says, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. Yeah, your young men shall see visions. Because that's how the Most High talks to you, man. You know? Through dreams and visions, man. That's how the scriptures were written. Holy men moved by the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. Let y'all get that real quick. Bear with me. This is 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 20. I'll start at the top. Not the top, but verse 19. It says, we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed. yeah, be cautious, take warning, you know, because this is all about taking warning. You know, the on the side that we're living on right now, man. Everything we do, we have to be cautious of, man. You know, it says, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place. And this word is the light that shineth in the dark place. Because this place is referred to as the valley of the shadow of death, man. Where you ain't gonna have an assurance of life, man. You know, but this word is gonna bring you hope. This word is gonna bring you salvation, man. It says, unto the day dawn, and the day star arise in your hearts, which is Yahushua, knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. Yeah, so you can't have somebody that is writing books in these scriptures on their own accord, doing their own thing, man. Everything is cohesive concerning the scriptures. You know, that's why you go here a little and there a little. Because everyone's on the same accord. Everyone's on the same page. You know? It says, for the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of the Most High spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost. Yeah, so you got to be moved by that separated spirit, man. You got to be moved by that separated spirit in order to have the understanding and wisdom and knowledge, man. You know, to be an orator of the Most High, man. Now, real quick, this is Zechariah chapter 12. Start at the top. This is Zechariah chapter 12, verse 1. It says, the burden of the word of Yahweh for Israel, saith Yahweh, which stretcheth forth the heavens and layeth the foundation of the earth, and formeth the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about. And that's what you got going on right now, man. Jerusalem is being made a cup of trembling. That's why you got this whole Black Lives Matter movement. You know, you got a lot of riots going on. You got Judah going out there torching cars, whether if it's Asian provocateurs or not. The image set in the world is that it's Judah doing it, man. You know, and that's just the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua working. It says, when they shall be in a siege, both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. Yeah, because eventually all the earth is going to be gathered together against you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Verse 4 says, in that day, said Yahweh, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. And I will open my eyes upon the house of Judah, and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. And the governors of Judah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength, and Yahweh of hosts their power. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like a hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in the sheaf. And they shall devour all the people round about, on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. Yeah, so the Most High, he's going to put his people back in his own land, man. You know, but before that, the Most High is going to use his people to act vengeance, man, as the scriptures say, man. You know? Because this is going to be a war of another realm, man. Another realm is coming to make war, man. And that's just what the scriptures say, man. You know? Verse 7, it says, Yahweh also shall save the tents of Judah first. And that's why you got a lot of Negroes waking up to the fact of their true nationality, their true identity, man, of being Hebrew Israelites from whatever prospective tribe. Since Judah shall be raised first, the three kingdoms which were left in Jerusalem, which was the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Levi, and the tribe of Benjamin, they've been waking up first to the acknowledgement that they're not West Indians, that they're not African Americans, that they're not Haitians, man, but they're from whatever prospective tribe that their forefathers' line comes out of, man. You know? Verse 7, it says, Yahweh also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. And that's the reason why you don't have as many northern kingdom coming into the fold as quickly, man. Because they're not going to magnify themselves against the house of Judah, man. Because Judah has the scepter, you know, of all the nations of Israel, man. They're the top tribe. Verse 8, it says, In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. Yeah, because the Most High is going to put the spirit in certain men to have spiritual powers, man. And the feeble, the weak, because that's what the word feeble means. It means the weak, ones that you least expected to, I'll say, impose a strong fight, they're going to be as David, man. And you read about the heroics of King David, man. Especially in the book of not Psalm, but Samuel, and Psalms, for a matter of fact. You know, when they talked about King Saul killing his thousands, they talked about David killing his tens of thousands, man, and David's mighty men. You know, so the weak among us is going to be like David, man. You know? It says, In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as Yahweh. So the house of David collectively shall be as Yahweh, man. Shall be like God, man, on this plane, man. You know, in these times when they have the spiritual powers, because you're gonna see Donald Trump issue the order of martial law. You're gonna see National Guard troops come in, and when they can't suppress the uprising, you're gonna have Donald Trump issue a call for help from the UN, the United Nations, which don't have any regard or any allegiance to the American people, man. Therefore, they're more susceptible to kill you and to blow your brains out, man. More so than a soldier that sympathizes with his own countrymen, you know? It says, as the angel of Yahweh before them, and it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. And who's the top nation? Esau, you Edomites, man. The nation of Edom is the top nation that came against Jerusalem, man. You know, and then all of the rest of his confederacy, whether it be Moab, whether it be Ishmael, whether it be the Hagarenes, so on and so forth, Ammon, all those nations are going to be destroyed. And the remnant of them are going to go into captivity. Verse 10, it says, And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications. So the spirit of grace and supplications is being poured upon the elect, man. The election. Because that's who the house of David is, man. It's really the elect, you know? And they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for his only son. Yeah, so when Yahweh Shai returns to earth, he's going to be in the same body that he was dressed in 2,000 years ago when the Roman centurions pierced him, man. You know, he's gonna be in that same body, and when the world looks upon him, they're gonna mourn, man. You know, they're gonna mourn for, and they're gonna remember from the teachings that we've been taught all these years concerning the crucifixion of who the world only calls Jesus Christ, man. And then also they're gonna see that he's not the depiction in which the world depicted him as, man. He's not a so-called white man, you know? that everybody says, oh, this is Jesus Christ. This is the blonde hair, blue-eyed, leper-skinned God, man, which is totally against the scriptures. You know, and if it's not of the scriptures, it's not the truth. Real quick, this is Amos chapter 9, verse 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. And the word tabernacle means house or building. So that's what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is raising up. He's raising up the house of David, man, that was fallen. You know, because there was going to be a falling away first. Our people were going to be destroyed for lack of knowledge, and we were going to discontinue from our heritage, man. Which our heritage was being Israelites, being the sons of God, man. Because there's only 3 different classifications of men: the sons of men, which are these other nations; the sons of the wicked, which is Esau, the Edomites; and the sons of God, which are you Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. That's why you excel in everything that you do, more so than any other group of people or group of nations on the planet, man. You know, and that's for a reason. Continuing, it says, and close up the breaches thereof. So the Most High is going to mend this building, man. So you're not going to have men of the house of David out there on their own or whatever. Most High is going to mend the breaches thereof, man. He's going to bring everybody together on one accord, man. You know, there's not going to be any schisms. There's not going to be any tension, you know. It says, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. That's right. Which, when you read about the kingdom of David, when he was at rule, they were constantly at war, putting the kingdom together, man. And that's what is going on right now. There's going to be a war to put the kingdom together again. You know, and then there's going to be peace, as there was peace with King Solomon for 40 years, man. But this is going to be forever, for eternity, man. Which this kingdom is never going to fall, because the laws are going to be within us. They're going to be written within us, man. It's going to be written within our DNA, so to speak, man. So we're never going to go off, man. We're never going to lose that rulership. We're never going to lose that arm, which the arm represents power, man. You know? Going back to Zechariah chapter 12, verse 10, again, it says, and I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications. And they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him, as one mourning for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. That day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hadarim in the valley of Megiddo. And the land shall mourn every family apart, the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart. So we're going to get wives in this place, man. As it says in Isaiah, I believe the 4th chapter, man. If I'm not mistaken. You know, 7 women shall cleave onto one wife. To one woman. Slakia. Let me just get the scripture. 7 women shall cleave onto one man. Slakia. Slakia. So not quoting verbatim, this is Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man. Yeah, so in these times that we're approaching, a complete number of women is going to take hold of one man, man. You know, those things are going to come to pass because they're in the scriptures. There's no scriptures that's going to be overlooked, man. There's no scriptures that it's not going to be fulfilled, because all things are going to be fulfilled, man. You know? It says we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Yeah, so they're gonna be women. They're gonna be in subjection unto their husband, man. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Yeah, man. So to be for a woman to want to be called by a man's name is for her to be that man's wife. You know? Because it's a shame, for one, for a woman not to bear seed, to have children, and also to not be married, man. You know, when you look in the scriptures, certain events happened where women were made fun of for being barren or for not having a husband, man. You know, or to have many husbands, to play the harlot. But going back to Zechariah chapter 12, verse 12, it says, "And the land shall mourn, every family apart, the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart, the family of Shammai apart, and their wives apart. All the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives apart." Why is that, man? Because Yahweh's return is going to be one eventful day and a day of mourning, man. This is Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. It says, "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him." So every eye is going to see him, man. It's going to be broadcasted on live TV, man. The return of Yahweh, man. You know, the return of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. He's going to be in a gigantic so-called UFO, an unidentified flying object. But we have identified them as them being the chariots of Israel, man. You know, who the world inly calls UFOs. That's how he's going to return. He's going to be riding on top of the ship with all power and with all glory, man. You know? It says, "And they also which pierced him." Yeah, those that pierced him. You know? When he was here 2,000 years ago, those same centurions that pierced him are back here today, man. You know? And he wants his vengeance. He wants his revenge. You know? It says, "In all kindreds," which kindreds is another name for families, "of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen." Yeah, people are going to be in fear, man. People are going to be in fear when Yahweh Shem Yahushua returns in that day. You know, the oceans are going to tsunami, the earth is going to quake, the volcanoes are going to erupt. There's going to be immense power, man. You know, there's going to be immense power, immense force returning back to earth, man, in which he had made, man. And he's going to be very angry because you people have destroyed it. The inhabitants of the earth have destroyed the earth, man. So now he wants his payback. Now he wants his vengeance, man. And most of all, you have stolen his jewels. As you have a lot of people nowadays looking at the history of certain transcripts that were admitted by Adolf Schuttenberger, you know, who the world knows as Hitler. He even said that the Amalekite, the so-called Jews, you know, that live in our land of Israel today, you know, he said that he was in war with them. And he begged the question, do you know what they did? They stole the jewels of the Most High, man, of God. The jewels of the Most High are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. You have put us in slavery, man. So therefore, you're going to have to pay. You know? But going back to Joel chapter 2, verse 28, "And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke." Yeah, and you see a wonder in the heaven just, I believe yesterday, and you'll see it again today, man. You know, which they call the ring of fire that is going to be around the sun, and it's going to be visible, man. And they say it's an omen for the apocalypse, or the day of doom, man, or doomsday, man, which we just happen to be in a so-called pandemic, man. Now, whether if it's a fallacy or whether if it's a true, actual pandemic, the fact still remains. But I know personally people that have contracted it, man. You know, I was speaking to a family member a couple nights ago, I'll say, or either last night or a couple nights, and they said one of my cousins had contracted the virus, man. You know, so it's real, man. It's starting to hit home to individuals that I actually know, man. You know, and it's gonna hit even more harder now that we're not even in the second wave yet. Even in the county jail in Fresno, there's an outbreak, you know, which they're sending inmates from Fresno County to Wasco State Penitentiary, and they're experiencing an outbreak, man. You know, it's gonna get worse and worse. You know, as things, as people start to relax certain social distancing rules, when they start to relax the stay-at-home orders, you're going to have more and more people congregate together. You know, that's why Governor Newsom issued a statewide order for everyone to wear masks, man. You know, you're going to have a lot more people congregating together, and then they're going to have one patient out there, or a patient with the virus, that's going to be contracting spreading the virus around in mass crowds. You know, because as soon as they lifted up the lockdown, what did you people go and do? You went to go protest, man. You know, you went to go riot, you went to go loot. You know, you wanted to go to these rallies, these political rallies. You know, you wanted to go out and get out of the house. You wanted to go kill each other, man. Because there's been a lot of shootings and stabbings in Fresno, and I'm just speaking about the city that I live in. It's going on all throughout the world, man. Even in the UK, 3 individuals got knifed to death, man. You know, you got people being hung in the trees, which they're blaming it on suicide, which that's their favorite thing to say. Oh, he was suicidal. Oh, no, he died of suicide, he hung himself. Which is not the characteristic of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. To kill yourselves, man. You know, which they're just covering it up, man. Because there's a lot of things that is happening behind the scenes, man. You know, but all in all, what is happening is that this virus is spreading more and more, man. And more people are going to contract it. More and more people are going to die from it, man. You know, those that have a weaker immune system, which they say that this virus predominantly affects the African American community, man. You know, which it could be a biowarfare weapon, man. You know, because remember the Confederacy of Esau involves Moab too, the Chinese, which you have Donald Trump calling it the Kung Flu. You know, trying to stir that racial tension, man, to stir people rising and fighting up against each other, man. You know, which is all a part of the plan. Going back to Joel, it says, verse 31, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of Yahweh come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. So those that are going to call upon the name of Yahweh, man, the names of Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai. Because the mass majority of these people, they don't know those names, man. They don't know the only name in heaven in which a man could be saved, a man can be delivered. But just because you know those names doesn't guarantee your salvation, man. You have to have works. You have to have faith in works to be saved, man. That's how you show that you really believe in something, man. You know, it's like an analogy. If you really believe in a certain football team, you're going to be decked out in all the gear. You know, you're going to go to the games. You're going to support the fundraisers. You know, you're going to support the team boosters. You're going to be all about it, man. You're going to be all in, man. You're going to try to get season tickets. You're going to know the team in and out. You know, that's how Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua wants you to be about him, man. He wants you to do works. He wants to see your faith, man. You know, he wants to see how much you are for him, man. No matter how much hell you catch, you might be catching pure hell. You might even been catching so much hell that you put extra hell on yourself, man. But you still got to deal with it, man. You still got to go out here week in and week out. You got to post your videos up. You just got to grit your teeth, man, and keep pushing, man. You know, Most High wants a dog, man. Most High want to see dogs out there, man. The dog in you. Show the dog in you in these times, man. You know, show you how about Shimmy outside you really want to do this thing, man. Show him that you really want him, man. You know, because, hey, what was the name of Caleb, man? The name of Caleb was translated into the word dog, man. You know, that's what the Most High is looking for, man. It's not about what you could do in front of everybody, what you could do when there's a group of people around you, or if you're going to go to camp because you got 30 or 40 or 50 people to support you and encourage you to go. It's about what you could do if you happen to find yourself outside of a camp or on your own, man. If you're still going to go out there, if you're still going to do the work, if you're still going to come out here and risk your life for your how about Shimmy outside, man. You know? Because anybody, there's been a lot of people I know individually, you know, personally, that you have to hold their hand in this truth, man. And they're not in the truth no more, man. And there's a lot of people that I know personally that are dogs for this truth, man, that go out there no matter what befalls them, man. You know, and that's what we how about Shimmy outside is looking for, man. So finishing up, Joel, verse 32 says, "And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yahweh have said, and in the remnant whom Yahweh shall call." That's right, man. You know, but as I said previously, that there should be signs, man. There should be signs in the heavens, man. Which, you know, all these people that look into the heavens, looking for signs, they're dismayed by it, man. They're bugging out. They're bugging out at the Ring of Fire Sun or the Nibiru or these different comets or an asteroid or the blood moon or the super pink moon or this color moon or that color moon. They're bugged out by it, man. Because really, what end is it to them? What end is it for them, man? You know, that's why they're afraid. That's why they're afraid of the doomsday, man. That's why they're afraid of the apocalypse. Because that means it's their time of death, man. It's their time of destruction. Because you see this society deteriorating, man. It's not going to be how it was in 2019, man. You're never going to experience the euphoric level of happiness that you experienced in 2019. Which 2019 was hell compared to 2018. And 2018 was hell compared to 2017. So it's been getting exponentially worse, man. It's been getting exponentially worse for the people in America, man. And it's going to get even more worse because you still have the prospect of this economy collapsing any week now, man. Because, hey, the stock market is drawing back already, man. You know, people are going to start feeling the effects of this economy crashing. You ain't going to be able to go to McDonald's and get a 2 for $3 or go to Rallies and get a 2 for $6. You ain't going to be able to go to your grocery store and get some ground beef for under $8, man. For under $10, man, for 2 or 3 pounds, man. You know, you're going to spend that $20 or $25, even to $30 on that 73% lean beef, man. You know, for what 5 pounds of it, man. You know, that's barely going to even feed your family, man, because you're going to have to make a choice. A lot of you people are going to go vegetarian, you're going to go vegan, because you're not going to be able to afford the meat, man. Which meat is the primary substance on the dinner plate of most Americans, man. Because America is all about eating protein. They're all about acidic foods, man. You know, they're not about fruits and vegetables, man. But you're already paying a lot at the grocery store, man. And they're gonna start drawing back and cutting off food stamps, man, the food allotment, man. As they deem, oh, we're no longer in the height of the pandemic. You can go get a job now, which most of these jobs are just for seasonal, man. You know, so as soon as people weigh things in the balance, oh, should I afford these appliances? Should I afford these clothes? Or should I go and get some food, man? Because those are the choices American households are soon to be making, and some are already making now, man. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have bought this brand new car, or maybe I shouldn't have bought this brand new house. And some people are having a hard time even selling their houses, man. You know, because the market is so down and out, man. You know, this is Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus said Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen. So we're not supposed to learn the way of the heathen, man. Because everything of these heathens is a bunch of BS, man. You know, they'll have you believe that we were nothing but spear chuckers, that we were nothing but living in shit huts and whatnot. But that's not our history. That's the history that they made up just so they could continue and maintain racial superiority, man. Which the true history, when you really go deep into history and you find out the truth, is that the Moors were so-called Israelites, man. Israelites calling themselves Moors that ruled Europe. Even the name Europe is named after a so-called black woman named Europa, man. You know, Jakes ruled Europe during the Dark Ages, man. During the time in which those Edomites were getting hunted down for being witches, man. You know, we're getting cast out of certain countries and ran up out of certain countries, man. That they don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell you that we used to have them in subjection, man. You know? So they can't have their newly conquered people know that they were once conquered by them, man. So they got to distort history. They got to say, oh, you were never nothing. You were always just living in shit huts. You couldn't advance anything. You can't do anything of importance in history, man. But as you see the small time in which we were set free, meaning outside of chains and shackles and being cattle slaves, you know, look how much we accomplished in this society, man. You know, we're at the top of every single industry. Whether we get credit for it or not, man. You know, we're the flavor, we're the salt of the earth, man. That's something that you can't just contain. That's something that just ain't gonna just sit still in so-called Africa, man. Which we're not even from Africa, man. And even though most of our people are in West Africa, the West Africa is still being built up, man. And the reason why it hasn't been built up is because they don't want it to be built up. Those that occupied that place, man, whether it be the Chinese, the Dutch, the French, the English, the Greeks, you know, they didn't want that place to prosper. They wanted to suck the resources out, man, especially those countries in Europe, because Europe doesn't have any natural resources, man. You know, especially dealing with the blood diamond or the diamonds, man. Diamonds are a stone that you could just find laying down like nothing in Africa, man. But since you have certain Amalekites, I forget their exact names, they wanted to push the diamond out there so women could have, we need a diamond to get married, man. We need a ring on our finger. And that's how diamond rings became popular. And now you have a diamond trade. It's all about generating money, man. You know, everything about Esau is about generating money, man. Even opening up this economy way before that it should be open. It's all about greed and it's all about money, man. So now you have certain industries that are debating about shutting down and just eliminating certain, like football, sports seasons, because they open up the economy too early. So now you're having a spike in the COVID-19, man. You know, and people contracting the virus and dying from it, man. All because of greed and all because of money, which has been Esau's MO from the beginning, man. His God is gold, man. You know? Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2, it says, "Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." Yeah, so the heathen are dismayed at them, man. They're making they're getting all frightened and whatnot, man. They're the ones that are shaking in their boots, man. You know? They're the one losing their marbles, man. They're the ones that don't know what to do, man. So these are the times that we're living in, man. I'm going to start at verse 4. This is Mark, St. Mark chapter 13, verse 4. It says, "Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled?" And Yahushua answering them began to say, "Take heed lest any man deceive you." So you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful with certain groups that claim that they're Israelites, certain individuals that profess to be Israelites, man. You even got to be careful with me. You got to be careful with everybody, man. You know, you got to make sure the things that I say is so, man. By what? Going into these scriptures, man. You can't believe everything that you see, man, or everything that you hear, because there's many deceivers out there, man. And you see it, especially when you're dealing with the Christian church, man, the Catholic church, man. Especially when you deal with Islam, man. You know, when you go on YouTube, when you hear certain people that deal predominantly with the news, man. You know, and try to link things together. Mainly in scriptures, man, not knowing how to rightly divide the word of truth, man. So you got to take heed to everybody, man. You just can't believe everything someone tells you, man, especially in these days, because everybody has an agenda. And 9 times out of 10, their agenda is capturing souls so they can gain riches, man. Because this society is all about your pocketbook, getting the bag, man. You know? Verse 6, "For many shall come in my name, saying I am Hamashiach," or saying I am Christ, man. Which the word Christ means anointed. So there's a lot of people that say, no, they're anointed by this and this demon, or that demon, you know? Or Jesus Christ, which the letter J is only 500 years old, so his name wasn't Jesus, you know? There's going to be many people out there saying that. It says, "and shall deceive many." So there's going to be many people that are deceived, man. The mass majority of the world, as the scriptures say, are deceived, man. You know, that's why they go into these churches, which the Most High, he doesn't dwell in these churches. And that's why you got the spirit of Yahweh outside goes in these churches, man. People can't even go to church because of the whole COVID. Well, the Most High is not dwelling in temples made with hands, man. And this is Acts chapter 7, verse 48. "Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet," man. So that's all part of the scriptures. So you're not going to go into your people's church. You're not going to go into your Cornerstone or your Grace Church and expect to hear the truth, man. The truth as the scriptures say. Not operating off a 501c3 charter, man, which makes their churches tax exempt, so they don't have to pay taxes, man. Their whole goal is to get as many members as they can so they can get as much riches as they can. They don't want to give you the word of the bread of life, man. They want to continuously pass that collection plate, man. You know? And when you're down and out on money, when you're losing your house and you ask your pastor or your preacher for money, they shun you, man. You know? They turn you away. That's the churches in America, man. But this is where the Most High has his prophets at. This is Proverbs chapter 1, verse 20. It says, wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. That's why you see a lot of men, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American men coming together all throughout the world, preaching on the streets, man. Giving you the word, preaching the Bible on the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse. In the openings of the gates, in the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, when you love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Because there's a lot of knowledge being admitted.
Do you have a donation thing?
I don't do donations, but you can go on YouTube. You got the internet. Just go to YouTube and type in GMS. There's even brothers that speak Spanish too. You know?
Really? Bilingual?
Mm-hmm.
What is that again?
GMS.
GMS.
Mm-hmm. Have a good day. You know, and fools say knowledge because there's a lot of knowledge being emitted out on these streets, man. On these street corners. You know, but you got to get it before you can't get it no more, man, as you see it. You know, there was a 3-month period when the whole nation was in a lockdown, man. You couldn't leave your house. You couldn't go and get food. You couldn't go and go to the movies or anything that they deemed non-essential, man. You know, you couldn't get out the house. That's why everybody's bugging out now, man. Everybody's killing themselves now, man. You know? It says, turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. So he's pouring out his spirit onto the people, man. He's pouring out his spirit onto the world, man. You know? To make his words known unto you people, man. So you can have hope. So you can have a hope in salvation, man. So you can know that there's a better life coming, man. A better life than this BS that we're living in. See, when you see this society for what it really is, you understand why people kill themselves, man. You understand why people are mourning. You even understand when you look into the eyes of these animals, man, that this is not the way that it's supposed to be, man. That we're really living in hell, man. Because heaven and hell is a condition played out on earth. This is hell that you're living in. Yeah, you can go and have fun, but the next day you're back at square one, man. You know, you're back at square one, dealing with problems, dealing with BS, dealing with your woman. Worried about your woman dealing with another man. Worried about your woman eventually leaving you for another man. Worried about a woman putting you in these court systems, man. That's hell, man. Worrying about your job. Oh, a boss might just, you might rub a boss the wrong way, or you might rub them the wrong way, and there's tension, and now there's prospects of you losing your job, man, because pretty much everybody's caught in the same fucking hell, man. And so they just want to take out their anger and aggression on everybody else, man. You know, that's why nobody has time to stop and say, how are you doing? Or how you doing, brother? Everybody's mean mugging each other, man. Everybody's territorial. Everybody already has their defense mechanisms up, man. That's what this world is, man. You know? It says, I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. Yeah, so the Most High is stretching out his hand right now through his prophets. We're still out here, man. We still have a chance. You know? Whatever city it may be, man. Go to your cheap place of concourse. Or go get the internet. Especially if you got if you have like food stamps or EBT, they give you internet through AT&T, man. Yeah, it might be a little slower than most, but shit, it's the internet. You can still go on YouTube. You can still upload, you know. You can still find the word out there before the famine of the word hits, man. You know? It says, but ye have set at naught all my counsel and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. And all you people are going to be in fear, man. There's a day approaching real soon when the whole world is going to be in fear, man. You know? And I'm not looking from side to side. I'm just, you know, that's just a habit, man. I don't fear none of these people, man. I don't fear none of these animals. I don't fear none of these niggas, man. You know, the homeless that come up, pure demons on them. Niggas that got demons that want you to slap the shit out of them. I don't fear none of that, man. What's there to fear, man? Is it death that we fear? No. Only ones that we fear is Yahweh Shem Yahushua, who controls everything. So what's there to fear? What's there to run away from, man? You know? Is it men with guns? Is it men with knives? Now, I'm not saying you don't run away from those things, but my point being is, you know, because you have different stories about men, the Lord running from different things, but they didn't fear those things, man. The Most High directed them steps to get out of that situation because they still had work to do, man. But that's not something that's going to move and distort our faith, man, from the people of this world, man. Because we know, man, hey, every man, there's a chance for every man to die, man, or whatever. You know, we know that. But we put our trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man, to preserve us, man, to protect us, man. And that's the reason why we come out here in the first place, because of our own testimonies, our own trials and tribulations that we experience that build on our faith, man, to believe, man. But you people, man, you don't have that, man. You set that at naught. So the Most High is going to mock you when your fear cometh. Verse 27, it says, when your fear cometh as desolation, your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Yeah, they could come in a moment, man. You got certain individuals out there so bold that they're throwing sticks of dynamite in an occupied apartment, man, or in an occupied house, man. Just throwing it in the window and laughing about it, man. And then you hear a big explosion, man. Could have been kids in there, could have been an elderly in there. No regard for human life, you know. You got people taking over a whole city, calling it the Chaz Autonomous Zone. People getting blown away out there with no law enforcement in sight, man. You know, so your fear is gonna come, man. You know? But we have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. Verse 27, it says, when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. Yeah, you're going to be crying on Jesus. You're going to be crying for Jesus in that day, man, but he's not going to answer you. Because how can you call upon somebody with a name that is not even his name? You didn't even consider that maybe his name isn't that name. Maybe he ain't a white man. Maybe this is just some racial superiority type of doctrine or thing of that nature, man. You know? Which he's been having you people in a trance for hundreds and hundreds of years, man. Making you think that he's the God on earth when he's not, man. He's just another man. He's the base of all man at that. But you people pray on to him as if he's going to save you, as if he's going to deliver. There's going to be a time in which he's going to wonder who's going to deliver him, man. It says, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh. So you got to choose the fear of Yahweh, man. Not the fear of the things of this world, man. You got to fear God, man. A lot of people don't fear God, man. That's why they destroy their temple. That's why they commit adultery. That's why they become homosexuals, man. Distorting the whole be fruitful and multiply, the union between a man and a woman, man. You know? That's why they have all these different gods. That's why they get all these tattoos. Which is it's crazy to be getting a tattoo. Because a tattoo should tell you through the sensories, through the nerves of your body that it's not okay, man. That's why you experience pain. You know? That's why you get certain disease, man. That's why you could contract HIV or any different blood-related pathogen, man. That should tell you that it's off, man. But you people go out and do it anyway, man. And think that the Most High is dealing with you, man. You know, because you're getting all tatted up. Because you want to impress a woman. Because a woman says, oh, that's what men are supposed to look like. Because this magazine says, or this magazine shows, oh, he look cute. Or he's fine. So all you people just fall into that paradigm of just following after these women into your own destruction, man. You know? It says, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear Yahweh, they would none of my counsel, they despise all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them. Yeah, so the turning away of the simple shall slay them, man. A lot of people gonna die in these times, man. A lot of people in Fresno are just gonna die from it being gang violence, man. Especially in this summertime, man. There's a lot of niggas that's gonna die in Fresno this summer, man. And it's gonna be brutal, man. It's gonna be semi-automatic weapons that's gonna be tearing people apart, man. No, there ain't gonna be none of that little handgun shit. It's gonna be some big shit, man. And it's gonna happen throughout the whole United States. It's gonna get worse and worse. You're gonna have the militia shooting at you. You're gonna have more and more cops committing acts of police brutality, blowing you away, blowing the tough guy out of you. You know? And they ain't gonna regard that whole I can't breathe or Black Lives Matter BS, man. They're not gonna regard none of that, man. Because hey, this is the Most High getting his payback on you people for disobeying, man, for being disobedient, man. So he controls certain spirits to do his bidding, man. It says, in the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearken unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear of evil. So those that have hearkened, those that listen, shall dwell safely, man. That's why we don't have nothing to fear, man. But you people, you got a lot to fear, man. We're going to dwell safely from evil that's going to come, man. We're going to dwell safely from the evil that's going to come, man. You know? And it's going to come. You see it on TV. You see it, you just saw what's happening in Syria right now. They just unleashed a new missile, a new Predator drone missile. I think it's called a 9XR, ABN 9XR Predator drone missile that they just used. They call it the Ninja missile, man. Which you already saw in the news, they're flying Predator drones at some of these Black Lives Matter rallies.